This watchdog has drawn up a list of investment hotspots in Russia, and with some surprising results. The list, together with recommendations on cutting red tape and beating corruption, has been given to Prime Minister Putin.
Let's talk to our correspondent Jacob Greaves about this. Jacob, good evening. Why has this list been created?
Well, really, because they want to set up a good investment environment for businesses. So they want to build awareness of this issue. So they've really done it by setting up a list of both those who haven't set up a good environment for businesses and those who've had. They want to praise them as well. So the sort of issues we're looking at here are corruption in particular cities. They say that on average, an average entrepreneur, 10% of his salary goes to corruption. On top of that, they also are talking about the infrastructure in cities, saying that a lot of businesses can't really build up companies there because of lacking infrastructure. And also they're talking about what is being termed as raids. Now, what we're talking about here is sometimes armed groups coming and taking over by force particular firms and businesses illegally. And that's said to happen between 60 and 70,000 times every single year in Russia.
OK, so we're all itching to know where's good to invest, so take us through the list.
Sure. Well, there's really two lists here. We have the good and the bad, like I was saying. On the good, there is actually some surprises. That's because we're not seeing the types of regions cited that are real financial capitals. Instead, it's the likes of Novosibirsk and Vladimir region. So some surprises there. Perhaps what they're saying it's really central to this is the fact that they have good administrative centres. The government is working well with businesses there, helping them to establish companies from the grassroots. Now, on the other side of things, those who are on the bad list, if you like, well, that's the likes of Omsk, Moscow and Moscow region, so perhaps some surprises again. Now, they say the reason behind that is because it's the very opposite. They don't have very good interaction between the local government and businesses. They don't help them establish, first of all, it's hard to get permits for building and also establishing electricity links and very basic infrastructure things. And this situation allows for the likes of corruption and bribery to grow.
Has the president been coming out with any statements about corruption recently, Jacob?
Well, yes, he has. He's come out and said that really we need to refocus things here. We don't want to just be setting new regulations and laws. Instead, what we want to do is change how the public considers corruption, and really that the people have become too used to everyday corruption. So there needs to be more awareness and more people getting angry about corruption. Only then will this issue go away. And indeed, the Prime Minister has also said something on this issue, saying that really it shouldn't just be about local government dealing with this issue. It should be businesses as well, living up to their legal obligations. Now, to discuss this further, I'm actually joined by Dmitry Demintov, and he is a leading lawyer in the area of how Russian firms are tackling corruption. Now, Dmitry, just first of all, what I was just saying about what the President and Prime Minister have been saying, do you think that's the right approach? Do you think that they should be addressing how the public perceives corruption rather than making new laws?
I think over-regulation in itself is a problem. Russia has already too many laws that's not working. There are many arguments as to how you may battle corruption. And it pretty much boils down to the two main arguments. One argument is an economic argument. We can say that corruption has a price tag, and this is especially true for foreign companies that want to do business in Russia. FCPA compliance, Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, anti-bribery compliance for UK companies. If the company pays bribes, they face the possibility, the risk of huge fines that they exceed whatever the benefit the companies get from paying bribes in the first place. So if the companies stop paying bribes, that might actually stifle corruption. It's almost as if in a drug addiction. You cut the supply, you just might as well or kill the demand. There's another issue. The important issue, I think, is the penalty issue. And China is a very good example. China has a huge problem, which is corruption, and the government has been quite open about this. Chinese establish very harsh penalties. People, the officials who accept bribes, may face death penalty. But the key about the Chinese effort has been consistency of penalizing criminals. To be effective, penalty has to be unavoidable. And statements, sporadic statements about liability, as is often happens in Russia, may not be very effective.
And what do you make of this attempt to really name and shame these particular regions and cities who aren't very good at dealing with corruption?
It's a good effort, but I don't think it's going to be very effective. Naming names is not a very effective tool per se. It has been done in the past. Many officials have left their posts, but nothing has really changed. The problem is that corruption is really, unfortunately, is really endemic. It runs through the system. It runs through the lowest ranks to the highest ranks. And we have a real problem when the lowest ranks aspire to be the highest rank.
So what you're essentially saying is that business really needs to become more involved as well in tackling corruption.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm afraid that's all we have time for, so thank you very much for that. Back to you guys in the studio.
Okay, we're talking about investing in business in Russia and the problems of corruption as well. Bringing us the story there, our correspondent Jacob Greaves. Thank you.